Welcome, everyone, to MS Office Hours. It is Thursday, October 16th. Let me please introduce our hosts.
Hey there, everybody. I'm Stephanie Stevens.
I'm Dwayne.
And we are super excited to have Sutton with us today to talk about all things miraculous M365 Copilot, Copilot Chat, lots of new updates, hot off the presses. So without further ado, Sutton, we will turn it over to you, and welcome to Office Hours.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. And Mike Tholfsen is here as well. I work on our education marketing team, and I lead our AI product marketing efforts. And I am going to walk through our very exciting announcements from just yesterday, so hot off the press. And I'm going to go through an overview. I put a link to the blog in the chat. There's lots of additional resources we can go through, and I'm going to try to get through this quickly so that Mike can take you through a lot of the details and deep dives into some of the features that we announced. I first want to just say thank you to everyone who has been on this Copilot journey with us. To Stephanie's point, there's lots of exciting things in the Copilot world, and we're always eager and interested in your feedback, and we've heard a ton of it over the past few years, and we're always looking at opportunities to improve M365 Copilot for education audiences. So just a thank you for everything you've shared already and the early impact that you're seeing and have shared back with us. Please keep that coming, so that we can continue to improve. And really, a lot of the updates this week were very specifically directed at feedback that we've gotten over the last few years, and hope that you're as excited as we are. I'll go through each of these in a little bit more detail, but at a high level, these are some of the big ones we announced. The first being the part that Mike will go much deeper into. We introduced some really exciting features to support educators and students with AI tools. And what's really exciting about that part is that it is all at no additional cost. We are launching these experiences in the M365 Copilot app. I heard some other discussion on the call about what was, formerly Office and the Waffle. It's in the Copilot app. It's available for all your users, and we'll show a screenshot of that in just a second. We're also kind of sharing a reminder on Copilot chat integration now coming into the M365 apps, and building on that to bring it to you in learning management systems as well. And then one that I think folks will be excited about, and I saw an early ping on as well, is that we're also introducing an academic offering of M365 Copilot at $18 per user per month. And so I'll just show a little bit more detail on each of these. This is the part where Mike will take you through so many of the amazing features underlying these experiences. But on the left here, you have Teach, which is a module in that M365 Copilot app. You can see it showing up on that left rail, and Teach actually started rolling out to general availability yesterday. So if you have education licenses, faculty, staff, they will start seeing that show up, and we included a specific URL for it in the blog. Really think of this as a hub for AI-powered teaching tools where we're helping either modify existing content, streamline lesson planning and prep for class, create homework and assessments, and a ton more to come in Teach. And then for students, we'll be launching the Study and Learn agent. That will come to preview next month, and then hopefully GA shortly after. And really, it's designed to offer students an experience for personalized learning that's engaging. It brings in tons of built-in activities to really help meet them where they are and allow them to choose the form of studying and learning that works best for them with AI. That one will also be in the M365 Copilot app at no additional cost, and it'll show up a bit more like Researcher since it's an agent. So it'll be pre-pinned on that left rail for students, but it will also show up in the tools dropdown so that just when students or if others want to use it, you can switch in and out through the chat experience as well. And again, hopefully this one isn't new news, but in case it is, Copilot Chat rolled out in the M365 apps for all academic users of M365, and that includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, Outlook, really to make it much more seamless to access, and we can share lots more detail there. And if you're familiar with the Microsoft 365 LTI, that also recently GA'd, and we can share additional links there as well. But you'll see we're bringing in Copilot Chat to that experience too. And we will continue to build more integrations into the learning management systems beyond Copilot Chat. And if users have the M365 Copilot license, that'll also already be showing up when they're using apps like PowerPoint or PowerPoint, Excel, and others in the LTI as well. And then, as I mentioned, hopefully folks are familiar with, again, lots of different Copilot offers we have. We've talked about the Copilot app and Copilot chat. And then, of course, we have Microsoft 365 Copilot, really our best-in-class solution, which brings the advanced skills and in-app experience in a more impactful way in the M365 world, plus comprehensive agent access and so much more on the management and analytics side. And we're really excited to be announcing this academic offering, which again will be at 18, and that'll be available starting on December 1st of this year. That is true for both the educator staff audience as well as eligible students, which today is still 13 and up across products. So that was just a quick overview of all the things. I'm sure there's questions. I can't see the chat, but I will be helping answer those as we go. And I want to make sure that Mike has time to go through in detail here. So Mike, if you're on, I'm happy to hand to you.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Sutton. Yeah, I will share my PowerPoint, and hello everyone. So yeah, Marge said, so neither the Learn Agent or the Study and Learn Agent nor the Teach module require a paid Copilot license. Correct. And yeah, so your confusion was Study and Learn seem to be part of Notebook. That is not correct in a good way. The Study and Learn Agent does not require the Copilot Notebook. And I'll go through as much of this as I can. Copilot Notebooks are still part of the paid offering, the $18 a month now. But the Study and Learn Agent actually does a lot of the stuff that the study guide in the Copilot Notebook does, but it's just not in the Copilot Notebook. So we're bringing that to all customers, if that makes sense. And this is actually, you know, like of all the stuff we announced, this is like the megaton slide. I put a blog link that goes through each and every one of these features. But as you'll see, we're bringing it to the Copilot app, like Sutton mentioned. We're also bringing this to Teams and in OneNote class notebooks and learning management systems via LTI. So we're kind of meeting folks where they're at. And so I'm going to get through as much as I can, as fast as I can. So I'll just get going. And so the first thing is just to be clear, this Copilot app, that's formerly office.com. It's fancier and redesigned, but it doesn't require the paid license. So the things we're showing you here is no extra license is required. The first thing is the Teach module. You can see here, Teach right there. We've got curriculum planning, homework and assessments, study aids, and modifying content. And I'm going to walk through these things. We also have things like history, and we've got other resources. But the idea here is this is the framework right here at the top. You know, you go to the Teach module. We're going to add more and more things into this over time. So don't think of as what we announced as like the be all end all. That's the be all end all through about January. And then we're going to be adding more and more, as you'll see in the future. And that is rolling out right now. So the Teach module is, I think by the end of today will be 50% rolled out globally. And by Monday of this coming week, it should be 100% globally rolled out, which is cool. So this is just a couple things. We've got, you know, pretty standard creating lesson plans. We can have multiple languages, different grade levels through higher ed. You can add your own content. We've got standards baked in. So if you're K-12, we've got all 50 states and 35 countries. Really easy to generate a lesson plan. The pattern you're going to see in this Teach module is everything here is in theory doable if you are a chat prompting master. But as we know, most educators are not chat prompting masters. And so we've kind of put it in a much more structured wizard-like way to make it really easy to, you know, if you want to change your tone or change the length or change the language, it's really easy just by drop downs and you don't have to go and prompt your way through it. If you have folks that do Minecraft education, we're also building in Minecraft lesson plans so you can easily align to standards and topics and descriptions. The other one that's nice is really easy to create rubrics. So if I go to homework and assessments, I can choose to create rubrics, choose the grade level, the language, the rubric title, description. If I'm K-12, I can add it and align it to standards. It asks me to add criteria. I can do that, my rubric scale, and it drafts out a rubric super fast. And again, I can change things like make it more concise, make the length longer, shorter, language. You can enhance with AI. And then what's nice is you say save this to OneDrive. So if I don't use Teams or OneNote, fine, save it to OneDrive as a Word document. Super easy. So we think in higher ed that'll be very popular as well. And then the one that's going into preview in probably a week is quizzes. And this is the full Copilot quizzes. What's nice is we're able to make Copilot quizzes available to all education customers. So it no longer requires that full Copilot license. So same patterns here: subject, grade level, language, number of questions, time limit. And this is going to generate a full-on quiz for you. And also if you use Teams, this same quiz technology will show up in Teams. So educators who use Teams to create quizzes, same thing's going to show up there. This is going into preview very soon. Then we have things like learning activities that can be generated by educators, and you'll see also students. So educators can add their document, PDF, say, hey, generate a flashcard pack, terms and definitions, questions and answers, etc. I can change these with AI. Here's what the preview looks like. And so really nice for, again, K-12 or higher ed. Higher ed students can generate their own flashcards or their own learning activities, as you'll see. So educators can generate these things, or students can on their own. These things can work standalone in a new app that's coming to M365 that's rolling out this week and next, called Learning Activities. But if I'm in Teams, I can generate and share them there. These things work inside of OneNote. They'll work in the Learn and Study agent, as you'll see, and they can work in Word online. So these flashcards and matching activities and other types, fill in the blanks, these are all embeddable all across M365. They're not just standalone like you're seeing here. So this is one, fill in the blanks, that's rolling out right now in preview. We'll probably roll out broadly in the near future. Jack, right now, I believe if one tenant to another, I believe, I'll have to double check on that, but unless the tenants have that sharing capabilities, I believe unless you have signing capabilities, they can't be shared between tenant and tenant. They can between educators and students, or student to student, or educator to educator, but I'll double check. We're also working on matching. This is kind of be gamified, so we make them kind of fun. There's like a leaderboard. And again, all these learning activities, we've started with simple ones, but we're going to add more in the future. So we've got a whole pile of learning activities over time we want to create. And also, one of the activities is just going to be students can create practice quizzes for themselves. Another one that's being developed right now and will be rolling out probably in November and December is modified content. So a lot of educators say, hey, I don't want to generate brand new stuff all the time, but I have a bunch of existing like Word documents, PDFs, PowerPoints, whatever, and I'd like to be able to modify those things. Things like align to standards, differentiate instructions, add and expand and add examples, and modify reading level. So align to standards, again, this one is more K-12 for standards, but I can put any document or paste my own text, whatever I have, and then pick those standards from any of the states, add that standard as grounding, then generate, and it will redo my content that is now standards aligned. And again, on the right-hand side, I can tweak those things really easily. The next one is differentiating instructions. So again, I can choose my own file, or I can paste in text, either way. I can give low tier, medium, high. I can choose scaffolds. I can choose the length. And then this will help differentiate that content. Again, all these things are possible in a chatbot if you prompt it properly, but we just make it much more easier and straightforward, saving educators time. Same thing with adjusting reading level. The thing I like on this one, you can, again, choose your own content, PDF, Word document. You can set grade level. The other thing, if you note there's this key terms to preserve. So let's say that I've got some science materials and I want to preserve those science terms. I don't want the modified reading level to like change the actual terms. So I can select the terms to preserve and then regrade or sort of redo the content. You can even say make a glossary to define key terms at the end of the document. And again, AI will very quickly, there's a glossary, I've modified, I've keywords like mitochondrion, etc. And I can go and tweak these things even more over on the right here. And again, save it to OneDrive, single click. Now I've got that in OneDrive. And then lastly, expand and add examples. So a lot of times educators have said, I'd like to give different types of examples, historical, scientific, real world. So I can take my content, choose the number of examples I want right here. What type of examples? Is it scientific? Is it real world, etc.? And then the depth of detail that I'd like. So that is another type of modifying content. So all these are rolling out in the next month or two. Yeah, mitochondrion. I like that. So these are all those different teach features I just went through very rapidly. This gets us through probably the beginning of the new calendar year, and then there's going to be a lot more features coming, and that's where we'd love your feedback. So hey, add in the chat, like what other educator teach features would you like in the future? Moving on rapidly. So you saw everything in the M365 app, all those teach module features. But we also know there's educators who use Teams for education or OneNote class notebooks. Like if you're me, you're a OneNote super fan. Well, all those same things you're going to see now inside of Teams for education. So if I'm in classwork, I can say create with AI, lesson plans, rubrics, quizzes, Minecraft lessons, modified content, all that same stuff, standards align, all works inside of Teams in classwork. And this is actually rolling out today and on Monday. So you'll start to see in classwork, when you drop down that add to my classwork module, there'll be a create with AI. So the next one is create with OneNote. So this will be probably in early 2026. The idea is you've got AI teacher tools here, and you could say create with AI, same thing. We're just reusing those same things behind the scenes. That is going to be first half of 2026. And then also for people who do use Teams for education, enhance with feedback. We've talked about this before, but previously it was going to require the full Copilot license. But now we're like, okay, I've got a Word document. I'm looking at it in the speed grader. I would like to go and choose enhance feedback based on I paste in a couple bullet points and I say enhance with feedback. I can rewrite that really easily. I can change the tone. I can change the length, so keep it, or I can say adjust, make the tone more professional, more coaching, etc. So that's rolled out literally starting today. The next one is just similar, which is, okay, I've attached a rubric to my assignment using Teams. I go and I mark that rubric, and when I hit done, I can just choose summarize rubric as feedback. So it's going to analyze the rubric that I put in, and then it'll draft out feedback right here. And I can keep it, I can tweak it, I can edit it. So just an enormous time saver. So think about, again, if you're a TA in higher ed, they have to do a lot of this, or if I'm K-12, this will save a ton of time. And then the last one, which will be coming in the first half of 2026. Let's say I've added a bunch of comments into the Word document already. I can just say summarize my comments as feedback. So it analyzes all the comments that I already put in, and then it can just write a little summary. So just saving massive amounts of educator time if they choose to use these things. I'm going to skip ahead just because of time. I'm going to go actually because I know there'll be questions about the study and learn agent. I want to make sure we get to that. Oh, actually, the other one is LTI integration, LMS integration. Sutton kind of covered this. We're bringing Copilot Chat to our M365 Copilot LTI app. So for those of you that are already using LTI, which is hopefully a bunch of you, if you're not already using Teams, maybe you're using Canvas or Schoology or Blackboard, we're bringing Copilot Chat into our unified LTI app. And then the other one, we've already talked about these in the past, I'm going to skip. This is probably the most exciting. All those same teach module features that you saw in the M365 app, we're also bringing that to the LTI integration. So if I'm creating content here, I can say all these same options that we showed before, modify content, curriculum planning, AI quizzes, homework and assessments, all that good stuff. That'll be coming with the LTI LMS integration. And that'll probably be in the first couple of months of 2026. So stay tuned for that one. There's not a ton of new Learning Accelerator news. I'm going to skip to AI for Learners because I think this is an interesting one. So one of the big announcements yesterday, and to reiterate, no extra license needed here, so you can do it with your A SKUs, your academic SKUs. So the Study and Learn agent, and this is not out yet. We announced it yesterday. We'll be going into preview late 2025. But in the same way, if you've seen Researcher is pre-pinned as an agent, if you have Copilot licenses, I don't know if folks do here or not. But Researcher is one of our premier agents. It's pre-pinned in the left rail, and it also shows up by default in the little tools menu. So when you drop it down, Researcher is just there. You don't have to go do anything. And so with Study and Learn for both educators and for students, that will be pre-pinned in the same way. So you don't have to go find it in a store and dig around for it. It's just going to be there. And so in this case, you can see it's there, and it's also under tools. There's Study and Learn. And if I go to this, we break it down into 3 categories. So there's understand and practice and study. So those are the 3 topics. So if I go into understand, it can help me understand a topic. I can put in, hey, explain to me things. Practice has some of our learning activities, practice quiz, flashcards, fill in the blanks, etc. And then study, it can help me with a study guide with the Study and Learn on specific topics. And so I'm going to go and show examples of each of these. It will be in the agent store as well, but for EDU users, it's going to be pre-pinned, so you don't have to do anything. The other thing I'll mention is if you have learners who are under the age of 18, unless you've set up our new Copilot chat for students who are 13 plus, don't worry, this agent's not going to show up for students who don't have access. If you have students who are between 13 and 17, we now have IT admin controls that allow you to set that up really easily and enable it. So if you enable Copilot chat for students who are 13 to 17, then it'll show up there. I already talked about this, but understanding concepts. So the first type here is this understanding concepts. So it says, hey, I'm confused about the left ventricle wall of the heart. I'm looking to understand more things. It will kick in and it can help do those things. So we're going to have images that are vetted. So this is not generating AI images. We can pull those things in. You can see examples here. It might have links to videos. And the agent behind the scenes has a lot of pre-prompting in the, it's the whole thing where it's not going to give them the answer. It has aspects like pause and think. It can suggest learning activities. So it has a much more of a interoperating in a way that's not just give me all the answers. And it also has activities for practice in there. So you can see here, it's going back and forth. Hey, let's keep going. It's going to ask questions. It's going to pull out interesting resources, etc. And so this is the understand mode. Then it asks, hey, the agent saying, hey, would you like to be able to check your knowledge? So it can really quickly and easily generate. This is a Copilot quiz that is real-time generated and tailored towards the topic. Students can add their own documents in there, or they can just go based on what the agent is talking about. But that's understand. The next one is practice. So practicing activities. Hey, help me practicing about photosynthesis for the upcoming quiz. So it asks some different questions first, some clarifying questions. It gives you some examples of interactive embeddable activities. Here are some options. You can make flashcards, we can do a quiz, we can do an interactive recap, we can have other learning activities. So it gives me some options right there. And when I click any of those, like let's say I want some flashcards, it's going to, again, this just pops a Copilot page up. Here's those interactive flashcards. You saw those earlier. It's the same learning activities as the past. And Copilot chats over here on the left so I can get back to where I was. It says, let me know if you have any further questions or you want to test with a quick quiz. So again, it can really easily generate those Copilot quizzes or other learning activities. And then the last one is study. And there are options that if you click study, but this is just going to go, hey, help me get ready for a test based on some specific files. So I can add my files in here, and it's going to ask me about creating a study guide. So yeah, I want to create a study guide. And when it does that, it's going to generate a set of pages really easily. And so right here, it's going to generate things like some topic pages, quizzes, flashcards, almost just like a set of pages, not in the Copilot notebook. These are just Copilot pages. That's how we got the ability to put this available to everyone. It doesn't require Copilot notebooks. And if I open up any of these pages, it has a bunch of information that's helpful. So it generates, overview, why this matters, all sorts of good information, making a study guide. So I covered a lot of stuff there, but I want to make sure that you saw a little bit more about the Study and Learn Agent. We've got more information in our blogs. And again, this is available for all ASU customers. And if you want to make it available to students 13 to 17, there's an easy way with IT admins. Again, we've got, I'll just show at the end here, Copilot chat for students 13 plus. That is available now. If you haven't enabled it, explore how to do that. We're actually bringing more tools. So SDS has tools to help manage student groups. And then we've also got the ability to put in the Education 10 identifier. So K through 12 versus higher ed. And then we're also adding the ability to just upload a CSV file. So you'll be able to upload a CSV file for your age group. So here are all my students who are ages 15 and 16, because that's the group we want to focus on. Put them all in a CSV file, upload it. We make it quite easy to be able to then enable that for the students who need it. And the last thing I'll talk about before we have maybe a couple minutes for questions at the end, I mentioned that learning activities are going to be available for educators, but this is the one that these are available for students. So students can go create flashcards, share with other students, practice it. And when they do this, they upload their own content. So I can upload a PowerPoint deck, upload a Word document, upload a PDF, and AI can generate some practice flashcards for me just based on that content that I uploaded. And so we think this will be really nice. We're going to make these things adaptive in the near future. So, oh, I missed these 5, generate some new practice ones based on the content that I didn't get right. Flashcards, fill in the blanks, and matching are the first 3 topics, but we'll be adding more learning activities in the future. So we're starting with some simple ones. And again, these are all generated with AI on my own content. So those things are rolling out right now. The flashcards are first, rolling out this week. Fill in the blanks is probably in a week or 2, and matching will probably be in November. So I'll stop there because we got 2 minutes left. And I think we can make this deck available in many cases because a lot of the things in here are all public now. They're no longer top secret. So anyways, learning activities actually, Jack, they don't live in a OneDrive. They live in a new app that, like, they literally live in this new app called Learning Activities. It's a new Microsoft 365 app that, let me go back one more slide just to show that. It looks like this. So all your learning activities live here, but they can also be embedded in other places. So they can be embedded in OneDrive or OneNote. They can be embedded in those agents. They can work in Teams. They can work in Word Online. So these activities show up in lots of different places, but the home base for them is this new Learning Activities app that is in Microsoft 365 that's rolling out like this week and into the next week.
And just FYI, this is huge across higher ed. We've heard from a lot of people that potentially they have preference for some of our competitive tools to do activities like this. And now that they are here and live native inside of the environment that you're already in, just such a huge value add. So this was amazing. I always learn something from you, Mike, and from you, Sutton, as well. I know our folks have been really active in the chat, and I think Sutton's been really great about getting to most of the questions. So if there are additional questions, we'll catalog those and shoot them over to you. But Sutton, maybe if you could put one more time the AKA link for any suggestions on roadmap items or things that people would like to give feedback on, that would be great. This is not a shy crew about giving feedback, so we'll be looking forward to that. And just in time, our co-pilot friend, Bo Pilot, woke up from his nap to say hello to everybody. So thank you guys again so much for joining Office Hours. This was the perfect crew to be back with for my first, return to the call. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, and we will see you all next week.